Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 67 of Engagement in Peril by Dara, Odoe, Sok. Chapter 67 is titled Duties While on Medical Hold. While on medical holdings and under base restrictions and being ostracized by my peers, whom I once thought were my friends and comrades, I had made new friends and confidant who I relied on while working together, cleaning and fixing the base problems and such. None of the new friends I had made then were even close to the relations I had formed with Shinshin Agami, who was constantly on my mind as usual. Usually we were assigned to a crew of 3 to work on various projects throughout the base and command that needed to be fixed, built, or cleaned. My usual crew consisted of Yi and Thomas, who were also booted out of the officer program from the previous class for an incident that they had committed or happened while they were on the base. Now Yi was kicked out of boost because he had gotten drunk one night and got stupid while on the command and was snitched on by fellow classmate. It turned out that Yi had urinated on someone's vehicle and was caught by the base military security and was given the heave-ho soon after. Now, Yi is a Korean American male and a nuclear technician for the United States Navy. He was from Pennsylvania and was assigned to a nuclear submarine and was quite bright. But one stupid mistake cost him his dream of becoming a naval officer. And the other guy was pretty much in the same boat then, although he didn't piss on anyone's car. Now, Thomas was booted out of officer program for being injured during a rough football game that was being played during out of class time. Thomas had broken his collarbone during a weekend touch football game. He had been picked up by the NAPS by Naval Academy Preparatory School for Annapolis, where the Naval Academy is located at. He was on a football scholarship, and since he had gotten injured during his off time, he was given the boot and sent home. We made a pretty good pack then, the 3 of us, Yi, Thomas, and I. We did our assigned tasks and duties diligently and got along well. Yi and Thomas were both on medications and drugs for their difficulties and inability to cope with what mental disorders they had, where I was more cautious to take any psychotherapeutic medication. I knew the effect and side effects of these various psychotherapeutic medication and sure as hell didn't want to be bothered by those sort of medication. I wanted my mind clear and focused then, and I didn't want any drugs to hinder me from thinking straight, so I refused any medication treatment at the time. You can say I was a sane one of the bunch, at the least the sanest out of the 3. You took charge then, Dara, even if you were insane or whatnot. You still were focused and you looked out for your fellow sickly shipmate then. You were looking out for the best interests of Yi and Thomas. And you had good, innocent intentions then. You are no longer like that. You really don't give a shit anymore about the welfare of others since you yourself put out that flame of yours to your beloved Shinshin. There was one time when we were assigned to work at a base facility where we had to clean up some spilled and bag several hazardous material and ready themselves for disposal and destruction at the incinerator. I, being a corpsman, knew the proper procedures on how to bag and trash contaminated and hazardous material, so I was given the responsibility of being in charge of the other 2 ex-candidates. So on our ways to the site that was across the base, seatbelts unfastened, we were all bunched up into a pickup truck in our dungarees and ironed-out skivvies. We went about our assigned tasks. I, being the smallest, sat in the middle with my legs open between the stick shift level in the small pickup truck. Thomas drove and Yi was on my right side, in the passenger side. While we drove on during the cool, breezy morning, Yi began to get irritated and sob profusely, moaning and angrily yelling at me, taking it out on me since I was the closest one to him. I, still being angry about my raw ordeal with the event that had happened several weeks earlier, one not to be yelled at or picked on, decided to return the favor and try to push Yi out of the moving vehicle. Yes, I tried to push him out of the moving vehicle. You were really freaking out Yi and Thomas then, Dara. You scared the shit out of that crying bitch Yi. You know you could have killed that son of a bitch. Luckily it didn't get too far or too out of a hand then. Then again, the car wasn't moving that fast anyhow. You still scared the Yi shitless then anyhow. Thomas, who wasn't going too fast at the time, the vehicle was driving at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, knows that I tried to shove Yi through and out of the passenger door. More likely, I would succeed if throwing him from a moving vehicle if I had more time. And with Yi clinging onto the door's ledge, holding me back with his arm extended against the ledges, Thomas slammed on the brake, flinging all three of us into the dashboard, windshield, and the open passenger door a feet or two ahead. Quickly after the incident, Yi didn't cry or bitch again for the rest of the day. He kept the incident to ourselves. Well, we kept the incident to ourselves and told no one of what had happened. Yi knew that he was in the wrong and later apologized for his unwarranted outburst. And I felt bad about the situation as well. Of course, I apologized. It wasn't fair for me to take out my frustration on someone who was in the same boat as I was. But it's what I was feeling at the time. I was quite pissed and irritated at the world. The rest of the day went smoothly after that. We got our duties done with the bagging and destroying the hazard material and had plenty of time to chill and relax afterward at the activity game room at the student union on base. After our duties and responsibility that day, we went about as though nothing exciting had happened and never told anyone of our earlier incident. It was the way things were, and it was the way we were. We looked the other way if something should happen during our work and assigned tasks together. We formed a bond then, a pretty good bond, a bond of three. Yi and Thomas was pretty good friends to me then. Yi and Thomas was a pretty good friend to you then, Dara, and you guys managed to get along well. And things went smoothly after that. You finally found a little comfort in Rhode Island then. They helped you with keeping some things off your mind then, and you three had some good outings together as well. After that incident, Yi and I actually became pretty good friends. We hung around together more often and got to know each other more in depth. Yi was from a crowded urban town in Philadelphia and from a close-knit Korean family. His father was a professor at a nearby university, where his mother was an accomplished family physician. His siblings were all intellectual who had gone to and became successful doctors and scientists. And this left Yi to where he wanted to be, a naval officer, and proved to his family that he too could be someone of importance as well. I felt that Yi was tired of living in his siblings' and parents' shadows and wanted to venture out on his own to prove that he was worthy of something to his immediate family and perhaps others that doubted him. Yi was trying to improve himself and better his situation with his family and their academic and professional hierarchy then. Just like me, when I had put in for this cursed officer program and worked my ass off to get it, I had something to prove to the world and wanted to be respected for it, especially by those who disbelieved and looked down on me back then where I was several months earlier in San Diego. There we were, two lonely men desiring to be accepted into society that looked at and preferred popularity and extravagant accomplishment rather than the person within. We were total strangers and total opposite, and yet we were in the same boat, all three waiting to be kicked out of the United States Navy for our indiscretion and stupidities. The irony of this situation at times makes me laugh within. As for Thomas, I didn't really get to know him well, just that he came from the East Coast and loved partying and getting wasted. Whether it's drug or alcohol, and even both at the same time, was better for him. He was a good guy though. He showed me and Yi a good time once or twice while we were away from base on several trips we took together, away from the surreal life of Newport, Rhode Island. Thank you for listening. This is the end of Chapter 67. Be on the lookout for Chapter 68, titled New York City and Club Twilo. This is Do, Ra, me, and I'll see you later. Thank you.